Formula E, round 3. And a move from Southeast Asia to South America. Punta del Este, the glamorous resort playground on Uruguay's southern coast. The Atlantic Ocean, the dramatic backdrop for another urban street battle as the championship's temperature begins to rise.
Race 2 of Formula E's inaugural championship took us to the beautiful Malaysian city of Putrajaya. Situated an hour south of the capital Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia's motorsport fans were about to witness another head-to-head street race with a group of drivers and teams who were beginning to figure out the cars and each other. If China had announced Formula E's arrival with a bang, a fast, twisting circuit in Malaysia was about to prove that this sort of street racing wasn't for the faint-hearted.
Tension was building on the grid, and as the lights went out, it was a good start for Oriol Servia. Third place man Daniel Abt had a throttle problem, which meant he dropped right to the back of the pack. But up at the front, it was Servia, followed by Sam Bird. Catherine Legg took out Michaela Cerruti on the first lap. And then Matti Brabham went for a spin as well. But then the battle was on for the lead of the race. Sam Bird pressuring Oriol Servia, getting the cutback out of turn 3 and taking the lead of the race for the Virgin team down into turn 4. The team were delighted. And then Servia would lose out to Karun Chandok as he made his way past down into the first corner, whereas Nick Heidfeld was in the walls again, this time shoved into the wall by Frank Montani. The battles were continuing throughout the order. Bruno Senna had won the fan boost and tried to use it to get past Nelson Piquet Jr., but in the end he ended up hitting the wall. He was able to continue though, and that problem would alleviate once he swapped his cars. But out in the lead of the race was Sam Bird, doing an excellent job. Bruno Senna then had an incident with Frank Montani down at the hairpin of turn 6. He managed to get back on his way, but it was turning into a difficult afternoon for the Brazilian. Matti Brabham was climbing back up the order in his Andretti car as he made a move on the Amlin Aguri team, but then it was Nelson Piquet Jr. on the attack, first getting past Lucas de Grassi. He then tried the same manoeuvre a lap later, but was pushed into the wall by Jarno Trulli. Ultimately, it was a difficult end of the race for the Team China squad. The battle was on for the lead. Daniel Abt had to take a different strategy and as a result was running at much lower power. That allowed Sam Bird to get through into the lead of the race as Daniel Abt tried to maintain a strong finishing position. Senna then used his fan boost in his second car to make his way past Nico Prost going down into the first corner. The Edams team a little disappointed, but not as disappointed as Senna, who on the final lap would smash into the wall and out of the race as Sam Bird took victory in the second round of the FIA Formula E Championship in Putrajaya. A wonderful performance, really showing strong battery management, and that moved him up to second in the championship.
As we ready ourselves for the third encounter of the FIA Formula E calendar, drivers and teams have developed their strategies to improve racing performance, and a hint of a pattern is beginning to emerge. Edam's Nico Prost qualified fastest in both races. Audi Sport Ab's Lucas de Grassi and Virgin Racing's Sam Bird sit at the head of the drivers' standings, each with a win and a podium finish, leaving their teams with just 1 point between them. Understanding the qualities of the car and optimizing the usable energy is key to winning. But how much of a season-long indicator are the positions of the first 2 races?
You have to say that both Sam and Lucas have been really strong. Obviously, they're leading the points with a big margin because they've had 2 great races. Again, it's only 2 races, and I think we're all going to have a chance to shine, and I'm hoping that both Jerome and myself do this weekend.
Lucas Grassi and Sam Bird have done a great job. I think you can see a tendency. Obviously, it's not the truth yet. We have to wait for a few more races. But clearly, you see that it's all about having a clean Saturday.
Virgin Dams, ourselves, we had the best results, but we've seen good speed in many other teams. So at the moment, anyone could win this race.
At the moment, you get these established teams, but what you can read is that there's a couple other teams that are just catching up, and so makes the race very entertaining.
I think we've got 10 very, very competitive teams in this championship. 2 races, 2 different winners, but who's to say that this season we're going to see 5 or 8 or 10 different winners? We just don't know yet. Honestly, I'm predicting a wild race, like I said, and from my side, I'm hoping another hat for the points.
Fresh from finishing a Formula One season with Toro Rosso, Jean-Eric Verne makes his Formula E debut with the Andretti team here in Punta del Este.
I don't come here for fun. You know, as a racing driver, you want to win the race. I think the strategy is to be as quick as possible and try and win that race. This is how it is, you know, you need to be always kissing the limit, kissing the walls in the street circuits, and that's what makes the difference between the winners and the other ones.
So ahead of the drivers, 31 laps of a 2.8 kilometre seaside racetrack. Now on race 3 of 9, momentum is going to be key. As 2014 draws to a close, everyone will want to end the year with a great performance as the calendar turns to Buenos Aires in just 4 short weeks.
And now we're in Uruguay for round 3 of the FIA Formula E Championship. From Punta del Este, the peninsula just south of the city of Maldonado, about an hour's drive down the coast from the capital of Montevideo, and what a stunning setting it is for a motor race. The fans have turned out in force, an absolute sellout here in Punta del Este. They have had races here before in the Argentinian Touring Car Championship, but this 26-degree air temperature, 44-degree track temperature, that's the hottest we've had all day, and that has brought the fans out in abundance to watch the action around this circuit. On the right-hand side there, on pole position, the man making his Formula E debut this weekend, Jean-Eric Vergne. He's jumped straight into that Andretti car and stuck it on pole position. A wonderful performance. He's also got the fan boost, so he is going to be looking very, very good for a win today, potentially. Nelson Piquet Jr. will be alongside him on the front row of the grid. Third on the grid, Nico Prost, the man who qualified first for the first 2 races, but again, for the 3rd time this season, out-qualifies Sebastian Buemi. Many people's big shout for taking the championship. So, there are the cars on the pre-grid, and in a few moments' time the lights will go green and they will pull forward. And there are the green lights, so they will pull forward from the pre-grid to the race grid to make sure everyone's got their cars up and running. And then 31 laps of racing will be underway.
These drivers are dealing with cold brakes here and a very inconsistent brake balance due to the regeneration unit and where they are with the battery life right now. So they've really gone into the unknown into this first corner.
On the right-hand side of the grid, on pole position is Jean-Eric Vergne in the blue and white Andretti car. Alongside him on the front row, the red Team China car of Nelson Piquet. Prost and Buemi are on the second row. We've got all the red lights on and we go green in Uruguay, and it's a great start. Look at that from Nelson Piquet Jr. Is he into the lead of the race on the run down towards the first corner? Yes, he is. Piquet Jr. leads. Second for Jean-Eric Vergne. It's third for Sebastian Buemi. That inside line really was quicker. Is everyone going to make it safely through the start? De Grassi almost pushed into the wall there, but everyone very well behaved at the start. But Nelson Piquet Jr. is into the lead of the race, getting past Jean-Eric Vergne. Michael Andretti was absolutely right, Dario.
Yeah, absolutely. And after everybody was well behaved there, gave each other room. Now the madness might start, to be honest. It's so slippery out there, so easy to make a mistake and then get offline. But yeah, all through the first lap, saw Sam Bird making some moves down at the back there, trying to get up the field as early as possible.
So Sebastian Buemi has got past his Edam's teammate and up into 3rd place. So that's Piquet Jr., then Vergne, then Buemi, then Prost, then Alguersuari, and I think Nick Heidfeld might have got past Lucas de Grassi in that start as well. As the cars flash through this quick left-hander of turn 12, then into turn 13, through this chicane at 14 and 15.
Really the quick part of the track here, you know, then breaking up for turn 17. It gets a little bit interesting because you're braking and turning at the same time. That's where we saw a lot of incidents this morning. You're slightly off the preferred racing line, you're going to get in trouble there, but everybody looks like they're making it safely through on that first lap.
Yep, up they come towards the final corner of turns 19, and then out onto the start-finish straight to complete the first tour of this 2.8 kilometre circuit. So Piquet Jr. leads across the line, a second clear of Jean-Eric Vergne. Then it's Buemi, Prost, Alguersuari and Heidfeld. Look at the sand being kicked up. That is a real challenge for these drivers. Both, and does that affect your visibility as well?
It will, depending on how many tear-offs you've got in the helmet there on the visor. You're going to be going through those. Just get sandblasted, I mean literally sandblasted, so you're going to be pulling the tear-offs a lot quicker than you would have before. So the good thing is you've got 15% less chance of getting oil in the visor with no oil in the, you know, really just oil in the gearbox there.
So it looks as though Bruno Senna's challenging Michele Cerruti for 16th place as they come down towards the hairpin. Has he managed to get past? We'll wait and see. But those are our top 3. Oh, it's a really quick, relentless circuit, this, isn't it? As they flash through. Here comes Cerruti in a minute, and Senna is past. So Senna has got up into 16th place, past Michele Cerruti. And, and that is a slowing. No, I thought that was a slowing up there for a moment, but it looks as though de Grassi's No, it is. Daniel Abt is slowing, I think, and dropping down the order. We'll keep an eye on it, but it looks as though one of the Abt cars has run into problems. Yes, there we go. Daniel Abt is dropping down the order, and for the second race in a row, he's run into mechanical problems. He couldn't get off the line at the start, but now his question is, where does he stop that car? Can he make it back to the pits? But Nelson Piquet Jr. leads half a second clear of Jean-Eric Vergne, and Heidfeldt's using his fan boost in the middle of that pack to try and get past Alguersuari. Here he comes in the black and red car, up the inside, and he goes through a bit of a lock-up, just about gets it stopped.
Yeah, and then now it looks like the grass is all over the back of Alguersuari there.
And Jarno Trulli's in there as well, as is Karun Chandok. So there was the fan boost used to perfection by Nick Heidfeldt, and that gives him some clear air now to try and close down Nico Prost.
Kind of like a check pass, he passed him and then really stopped the car, and everybody backed up into him. This is what we saw though we saw this in the last round in Malaysia. When you don't get passed by one car, it's generally multiple cars because everybody's so close together.
There's a yellow flag towards the end of the lap, which will be for Daniel Apt's slowing car, if not stopped car. But that has just been rescinded, so hopefully Daniel Abt has made it back into the pit lane. This is the battle for 6th position then we're watching. Jaime Alguersuari in the Virgin car, which is the silver and red machine, followed by the yellow, red and green car of Lucas Di Grassi, the championship leader, the Brazilian. And then it's Jarno Trulli and Karun Chandok behind. A little bit of a lock-up on the inside, but nothing too dramatic. Jaime Alguersuari not troubling the apex of 17, but Piquet Jr. still leads half a second clear of Jean-Eric Vergne up at the front.
And Buemi's just sitting there ahead of Prost. And as I say, I think they're going to hold station just for a little bit and see, see how much power they're using, get settled in a bit, and we're going to see the battling when they're a bit more sure of what they've got available for the end of the race. But Jev looks like he's setting up Piquet quite nicely here.
So 78%, 77% in the middle there is the usable power remaining as we go into the brakes through the chicane, and he is right up behind Nelson Piquet now. And don't forget, Jean-Eric Vergne has the fan boost, so he could deploy that whenever he feels like it to give himself extra power for 5 seconds to try and get past Nelson Piquet Jr. On the exit of the hairpin, and out! That is Sam Bird. Sam Bird is out. That is such a shame, and that will surely potentially bring out the safety car. That's the exit of turn 1, isn't it? That Sam Bird's gone into the wall. So that will mean that, well, we'll have to wait and see if the safety car is deployed. But meanwhile, Jean-Eric Vergne is still right up behind Nelson Piquet in the battle for the lead of the race. And there is the wrecked car. And, well, I can't imagine that they won't have a safety car for this incident.
Got to throw it. Got to throw the flag here.
And well, here's a look at the replay then, coming into the first corner. And here comes Bird, all by himself,
Oh, again, the problem with these curbs, these sausage curbs, is exactly the thing. You know, yeah, he made a mistake, but when you hit the thing, you've got absolutely no steering. And
safety car is deployed, and so there is a disappointed Sam Bird walking away from his car, and that is a real shame. The safety car deployed then here, which is good news for the teams, because a couple of laps under safety car, and that gives them more usable energy. So let's have a look at the start then, Dario, and to see how Nelson Piquet, look, it's just wheel spin for the poleman Vergne.
You heard it from Vergne there, but Piquet had very good reaction time too, and really, textbook start, absolutely textbook. He was on the clean part of the track, but look at the acceleration difference there. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah, the whole of the left-hand side of the grid, as we look at it, got the jump on the person alongside. And look at that, Lucas Di Grassi almost got 4th place going into the first corner, but Alguersuari got around the outside of him. That was really good racing, and everyone very well behaved through that first turn.
They were. Normally when they try and be well behaved, they crash into each other. At least that's what happened when I tried to be well behaved. But no, yeah, not a bad start there at all. 2x2 right there is asking something. It's such a tight first chicane.
So the big gainer from that start was Bruno Senna. He made up quite a lot of places. This was on board with Vergne. You saw the wheel spin there. He was always going to try and get across to that side as quickly as he could, but it just wasn't quick enough. And look at the plumes of sand coming off. We're right by the beach here in Uruguay, and you can tell, can't you?
Absolutely. You know, just the small amount of time between qualifying and now the race, you're seeing all the sand's blown on. It's a pretty windy day. All the sand blows on the track, coats it again. Those first laps have been very, very slippery, and that's probably the worst conditions they will have had to drive in all day.
And the racing gets back underway after the safety car period here in Uruguay, and it's Nelson Piquet Jr. leading the way.
Nice jump by Piquet.
Yep, he's got away. We heard the team radio from John-Eric Verne saying green flag, green flag. And we go racing again here. PK Junior leads, Verne is second. Then it's the two yellow and blue Edam's cars of Buemi and Prost. And here's Matty Brabham, a little feint towards the inside, not close enough to make a move. And who's that going straight on? Antonio Felix da Costa. Looked as though there was some debris bouncing through the runoff area there. So I wonder if he had an issue. Contact. He was running with Stefan Sarazam. But we'll have to wait and see what happened to Antonio Felix da Costa there. But meanwhile, it's nose to tail again for the lead of the race. Jaime Alguersuari's having to defend from Lucas de Grassi as well. There is Alguersuari flashing through, but there's our first place man in the red car, Nelson Piquet Jr. The blue and white Andretti of Jean-Eric Verne is following him very closely indeed, and Daniel Abt is back in the race. That's good to see, right at the back of the field, but he is having a torturous time so far this season.
Jev is right there, isn't he, with Piquet now? And plus he's got the fan boosters we've discussed, so that's an ace up his sleeve whenever he chooses to use it.
Absolutely. Into turn 17 they come, around the far end of the circuit. The final corner now. There's Oriol Servia. He's coming through in front of Stefan Sarazan. They're in 10th and 11th positions. And let's see the gap between Piquet Jr. and Jean-Eric Verne as they come across the start line. It's just under 0.4 of a second on the run down to the first corner. And Buemi's lurking in case anything kicks off. And it's all kicking off here as Lucas de Grassi attacks Jaime Alguersuari around the outside. Not quite close enough to do it. Oh, that was close, wasn't it? Because the Amlin car of Antonio Felix da Costa have pulled off. But we're on board with our second place man, Jean-Eric Verne.
Let's see here if he's going to have a move into the far end there, turn 8. Defensive by Piquet.
Yep, covers the inside line. Oh, a little bit of a nudge.
A little tap there just to wake him up.
And then we've got, it's really line astern, isn't it? So Piquet Jr. doing a good job holding these guys off at the moment. But one small mistake anywhere on this circuit and that'll open the floodgates. And look at these cars, nose to tail all the way through those fast chicanes.
And they're fighting them too. This turn 13, big bump right in the middle there, but they're fighting the cars because they're trying to keep the momentum up. They're trying to save energy. Look at that. You tell me they're not driving these cars.
Absolutely.
They're trying to keep the momentum up, and that is where some of the difficulties coming in, and we saw the amount of accidents this morning, just with slight mistakes. Incredibly low surface grip here in Uruguay.
This is the third round of the FIA Formula E Championship, as Jean-Eric Verne comes out onto the start-finish straight again.
Energy level. 139.
Okay, so that was Jean-Eric Verne giving the reading to his team about what his energy level is, as Lucas de Grassi attacks again. So they asked, what's your energy level? He gave the answer, and they carry on fighting, but they only do that down the straights, otherwise drivers get angry.
Well, some drivers do, apparently. I wonder if there's an issue with the telemetry there, that they're not getting the feedback in the Andretti garage if they're asking him for that information. Michael Andretti, JF Thorman there.
Again, going defensive is Nelson Piquet Jr. You're not going to get around the outside there, Monsieur Verne.
Might open yourself up to third place Buemi as well, so you need to be very careful with that.
Lucas de Grassi has been told to give back the position.
Sector 2, double yellow, sector 2.
So that's double yellows in sector 2. Again, that was Jean-Eric Verne's radio being told, and that's the recovery of Antonio Felix da Costa's car. But yes, so as they flash through.
5 minutes issue with this fan boost.
Fan boost not working? Is that what he said?
We are working on it.
Okay, so they're working on it. They appear to have a problem at Andretti with using the fan boost, and the safety car has been deployed again.
Safety car.
So Jean-Eric Verne.
Save energy.
This is going to put them over the limit of laps. So now, from now on, flat out.
Find this issue. He's so slow. I need to pass him and grab up in the straight. So find the issue. Do something, please.
He wants it fixed.
Getting a little bit stressed now, isn't he? And there's the Qualcomm safety car deployed again to recover Antonio Felix da Costa's car. And it must be frustrating to be right behind the race leader, knowing you've got this boost, but for some reason your car's not doing it.
Yeah, and you know, he sounds like he's been pretty unreasonable there, but trust me, when you're behind the wheel, you're sitting there thinking, it sounds perfectly reasonable. You're struggling, you're fighting for every 10th of a second, and you just want it fixed. And you know, that's when I think some experience comes in. Sometimes you're a bit calmer.
So this is a look at Lucas de Grassi going around the outside of Alguersuari, and he then skipped across the chicane and spilted in behind Alguersuari. so I'm not 100% sure. But then the message on the screens was saying you've got to give that position back. But he didn't actually make the position because Alguersuari stayed in front. So, yeah, we'll wait and see. I was
confused by that one too.
There. But the safety car will be coming in this lap, so they have managed to recover the Amlin car of that man, Antonio Felix da Costa. And he's managing to walk back up the pit lane now, and a very short race for the Portuguese driver. So the safety car comes in and we get racing back underway here in Uruguay with Nelson Piquet Jr. leading the way just in front of Jean-Eric Vergne. Then it's the two Edams cars of Buemi and Prost. Lucas Di Grassi is desperate to get past Jaime Alguersuari in front of him, but is still just about unable to do so. Then it's Jarno Trulli and Karun Chandok with Oriol Servia behind. And that was interesting, that little bit of radio we heard then, I think was Daniel Abt saying, I want to do, their plan is to do the fastest lap of the race and get 2 points for it. And he's saying, I don't really like this car. I want to do my fastest lap in the other car. Can I just come in and change, please?
We heard that earlier, didn't we, today? One of the guys was saying, look, I don't like this car quite as much. Was it Alguersuari? He didn't like his car. He said, no, the other car's much better. And you'll always get that. There's always slight differences car to car, and there's one you like just a little better than the other.
And Antonio Garcia could be under a bit of pressure there, but we look back to the lead of the race. Nelson Piquet Jr. 4/10 of a second clear of Jean-Eric Vergne through the right-hander of 13.
Look at them
see them moving.
I mean, that's what we've been asking for. Cars sliding around a little bit. That's they've been saying that's a proper corner.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen it on the onboard telemetry. The little lifts, the little confidence lifts that the drivers are doing.
And they're telling everybody they're flat.
Yeah, exactly. So into the final corner, we are on lap 11 of 31, and look how close Jean-Eric Vergne is to the back of Nelson Piquet Jr. Out onto the start-finish straight again, and across the line.
Piquet is definitely slowing him down now, there's no doubt. He's going to, I would say, just sit there for a little while longer, get that energy ready, and then make that move.
And oh, look at that, Sarrazin going through.
6-9.
And that's allowing Matty Brabham to come through. We're hearing Jean-Eric Vergne on the team radio telling his energy level. Oh, that's rude on Matty Brabham.
Is that Sarrazin?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not cool.
And that allows Oriol Servia up the inside to take 10th position away from Matty Brabham, the final point scoring position. Another interesting thing, when we just saw the lower third of the positions, we also saw the usable energy left, and the top two didn't have much usable energy at all. They were down at 28%, a good sort of 5 or 6% less usable energy. And look at that, Jean-Eric Vergne is through into the lead of the race. It must have been down at the hairpin that Vergne made the pass. Nelson Piquet Jr. drops to second place.
23%. Yeah, these guys they're not messed around, are they? No. They're using that energy up, and you're going to have to go. You're going to have to pay for it at some point. You've only got so much energy to use.
So Jean-Eric Vergne's been told he's going to pit in 2 laps, and look at him now sprinting clear. Does this put the pressure on Sebastian Buemi to, oh, here's a look at the replay then, lines him up, and this time Piquet doesn't really defend.
I think he got him early enough. He'd set him up, was so much quicker at that point. And maybe Piquet just thought, yeah, okay, we got a yellow flag at sector 15 there.
Karun Chandok has come into the pits, but meanwhile Jean-Eric Vergne again gets the inside line on the run down into the hairpin and just outbreaks him. Good move from the Frenchman, and he's into the lead of the 3rd round of the FIA Formula E Championship. And whoa, lockups everywhere on the way down into the first corner, because Buemi knows Vergne's going to get away now.
Every corner he's held up now by Piquet. Vergne knows, Buemi knows that he's in trouble, so he's got to make a big move here. And Vergne is just starting to ache away. But as we've said, he's using energy. Is he using too much? Has he learned enough about the technique of driving one of these Formula E cars quickly over a long race? He's certainly figured it out in one lap.
Vergne's got 17%, and Buemi, in theory, has 29%, according to the telemetry that we're fed directly from the cars. So that is very, very interesting, and you might absolutely be right that it's a different skill of being massively quick and being massively efficient.
Yeah, we saw Sam Bird do it last week. He wasn't the fastest over one lap, but the hell was he quick in the race.
Oh, Sarrazin and Trulli just went side by side into 13. They've both come out unscathed.
That was brave.
With Trulli still in 8th place. But Sarrazin has now set the fastest lap of anyone.
He's still got a wave jello here.
That's because Daniel Abt has stopped on the circuit there.
That's going to be a safety car, I would say.
They're probably just waiting to see if he can get the car going again.
I wonder if they'll leave...
there he goes.
Yep. I was just going to say, I wonder if they would leave Jean-Eric Vergne out for a while until that happens. So the safety car.
Across the line then comes Verne, and they're lapping Karun Chandok. So Chandok's run into trouble. Here's the battle for second place. Massive lockup from Buemi. Is he going to get that stopped in time? No, he has to go across the runoff. So does Nelson Piquet Jr. So I think that's fair now.
Well, how can you say commitment?
Exactly. But so Buemi is absolutely desperate to get through. So what has happened to Chandok? He's suddenly dropped down to 17th place. So Chandok has gone missing, but Verne's down to 9% usable energy compared to sort of early 20s for the more experienced drivers.
He's putting himself in a hole here, and he's going to have to, at some point, he's going to have to do that.
Unless it's a tactic about...
I think that was
French.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're hearing Piquet and Buemi's radio, and so that was Sebastian Buemi's radio. Our viewers in France will have figured it out. Here's the lockup from Buemi.
Buemi in the blue Edam's car there, with the front wheels locked. He's easy to spot. And then they both just, you know, get back on it.
And that incident is under investigation by the stewards, but I mean, it seemed to just be fair enough, really. Buemi didn't make the pass, and so Piquet Jr. was allowed to go back through.
Yeah, I think it's...
But anyway, oh, and look at that. Piquet Jr. is behind both the Edam's cars now. And Sarrazin finally gets past Jarno Trulli. Sarrazin up into 8th place. Race leader in the pits. Jean-Eric Verne is in the pits now. Meanwhile, Jarno Trulli is getting a little bit angry with Stefan Sarrazin, who is looking feisty out there today.
Sarrazin just keeps driving people at the wall. It's not really on, is it? I mean, we saw Trulli drive one of the guys out last week. Here's the pit stop.
So Jean-Eric Verne in.
This is his first one of these pit stops under pressure here. First time he's ever done it, so easier to make a mistake.
And now Matty Brabham has got past Jarno Trulli as well, and is up into what will be essentially 9th position, I think. Oriol Servia comes into the pits.
Properly impressed with Matty Brabham today.
Yeah, he's doing a very good job coming from the back of the field and climbing up the order. Nelson Piquet Jr. needs to pit soon. You can see there he's got 6% of usable power remaining. And there is a minimum. Oh, and off goes Sarrazin. Off goes Sarrazin into the wall. It looked as though it might have been Jarno Trulli that he was battling with. Those two had fallen out a couple of laps ago.
He might have got some help there.
And now, surely everyone's going to dive into the pits if they know what's good for them, because presumably the safety car will come out. Here we go. Oh, it's Matty Brabham, but he's ended up on the curbs himself, hasn't he?
Well, it looks like Sarrazin missed the corner, had to slow down to avoid doing what Sam Bird did earlier, and Matty Brabham's just helped and finish it, but it looked like Verne...
Oh, here we go.
It looks like Sarrazin...
He just got out of shape.
He's already in trouble. The car was already broken. So, yeah, he was being very, very aggressive in the defence, wasn't he?
Oh, and look at that, the wall getting hit as well. Was that Bruno Senna clouting the wall?
Yeah.
So Bruno Senna could be in trouble too. Sarrazin is out of the race, and the safety car, unsurprisingly, is deployed. Everyone there is Senna.
Broken.
I think he might have trouble stopping that.
You can swap cars though. You get it stopped. Time for a pit stop.
Yeah. And so Senna comes into the pits.
He's got plenty of time to stop it. No, we can swap cars.
Oh yeah, you can swap cars.
Yeah.
Very good point.
That was good timing.
Yeah, exactly. That was why he did it. So there is Antonio Garcia swapping over. And so everyone diving into the pits.
So Garcia's used to swapping drivers, but not necessarily cars, with the Corvette that he races in America.
Oh, he's just punched his mechanic in the face there. That was a good one. He tried to get his hands out of the way for the buckles to be done up, but there is Stefan Sarrazin out of the race in his Venturi car.
Normally it's the other way around. Normally it's a mechanic punching the driver.
So where will these guys come out compared to... Oh, this could be bad news for Jean-Eric Verne, because he's having to lap the track at safety car speed, whilst the rest of them can go as fast as possible. There is Verne going straight across at turn 1. And did that keep him the lead of the race by going straight across there?
I thought I saw cars ahead of him, but is that allowed?
So I think Buemi has rejoined in the lead of this one, by the looks of it, and then Jean-Eric Verne, then Piquet Jr., then Nico Prost is how it looked. That's how the order looked to me. And yeah, here we go then. Or is that Heidfeld in the lead? Heidfeld's got out in the lead. He's made his pit stop and has absolutely nailed the pit stop, as they did in Beijing. And he's first. It's second for Buemi, third for Jean-Eric Verne, fourth for Nelson Piquet Jr., fifth for Nico Prost. So Heidfeld leads the race. There's a look at the time in pits. Heidfeld did it 1 minute exactly. And so that's 60 seconds. So was that too quick is going to be the question. Everyone else doing it 1:06 roughly. But Heidfeld with a very quick pit stop.
Verne's over 5% in the hole already, on amount of power, amount of energy still to use.
It seemed as though that strategy was gambling on position. So 64 seconds was the limit for pit limit. So Heidfeld may have been too quick in the pits, and that's why he's ended up in that scenario. This is a replay of Bruno Senna going side by side and making a move. And oh, this is where it all went wrong for him.
Not Bruno's fault at all, there, was it?
What can you do?
I think he did well not to damage it worse. Look at him hanging on to it there when it's crabbing.
He's still flooring it, isn't he?
Good lad.
And that's it, drifted through 13.
Lovely.
So the cars are making their way around behind the safety car. Safety car still out.
I think we need the commentary booth up there.
Yeah, I'd say so. Or just the floor below.
Yeah, just, or, you know, with a better view, get the sea breeze going on.
So, on board with Nick Heidfeld. And he's been told that he has a penalty by his team over the team radio. And so the order, well, you can see it on the left-hand side of the screen there. We believe Heidfeld has a penalty, so Buemi, Verne, Piquet Jr. will be the top three. Prost, De Grassi, D'Ambrosio. Good work from Jerome D'Ambrosio.
Nice, yep.
He started 17th on the grid, and he's now in, effectively, 6th position. The safety car will be in this lap.
I still think Verne's quick enough to win it. Here we go. Heidfeld's gone a lot earlier.
So, into the pits comes the safety car, and the race gets back underway here in Uruguay. Nick Heidfeld leads, but he is going to be given a penalty, we believe, for using too much of his available power. Meanwhile, his pit stop is still being investigated. So he's in all sorts of trouble at the moment, but as it stands, he leads the race. We haven't heard official confirmation of the penalty yet. Sebastian Buemi's in 2nd position, 3rd is Jean-Eric Verne, 4th is Nelson Piquet Jr., and that's Daniel Abt in the red, green and yellow car, just getting out of everyone's way because he's 2 laps down. So, this is Bruno Senna, who amazingly has hit the wall, wrecked his rear suspension, but he's still in the race.
You've got to love the 2-car rule at this point. Certainly Senna does anyway. There's a drive-through penalty for Heidfeld coming up.
Yeah, and so he has been given a drive-through penalty, Nick Heidfeld. It's now official, car number 23, and we believe that's for using too much of his available power. That's not for the pit stop. The pit stop is still under investigation, so he may well end up with a 2nd penalty before too long. Everyone's starting to queue up a little bit behind Jerome D'Ambrosio in 7th position as that battle rages through the chicane.
He's done a hell of a job to get there, but it looks like he's really holding Trulli up right now, doesn't he?
Yeah, and here comes Trulli looking towards the inside, towards 17. This is ambitious,
That's
Jarno.
a brave move.
Oh, not really sure what he thought he was going to achieve there.
Watch for Brabham, though. Watch for Brabham.
Will we see Brabham appear on the left-hand side? Not quite.
I think you saw Trulli's experience and backing him up just at the right point to get the run through the corner.
So Heidfeld is in the pits now, serving his drive-through penalty, which means there he is on the left-hand side, which means Sebastian Buemi is in the lead of the race. 2nd place is Jean-Eric Verne, 1.2 seconds back. Nelson Piquet Jr. is 3rd, Nico Prost is 4th, Lucas de Grassi is 5th. You can see these standings on the left-hand side there.
That's a long penalty at 50 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
It's got to feel like a day going down there.
And he comes out right next to Antonio Garcia, but he has to bail out of that one. So that's behind Garcia, so that's 14th place now for Nick Heidfeld. What a shame, because it was looking very strong for him, but if you don't follow the rules, you're going to get a penalty. Nico Prost has just done the fastest first sector of anyone. His usable power, though, and Verne is down at 77%, so he may have the pace to win it, but I don't know if he's got the energy to. Salvador Duran in the pits with problems for Amber.
Yeah. Salvador's had a tough baptism today, and he got the fan boost, but that's, I think, probably the only good thing that's happened. he's had a tough one.
So there's our race leader, Sebastian Buemi. 2nd place in the blue and white Andretti car is Jean-Eric Verne. 3rd place is the red Team China car, and Jarno Trulli is
that Michaela or was that Jarno?
Oh, sorry, that was Michaela Chirusi. My apologies, in front of Oriol Servia in their battle over 11th position. It's the other Trulli and Dragon cars that are battling further up the road here. And that's D'Ambrosio in the silver and black Dragon car in front of Trulli. And then Matty Brabham in the blue and white Andretti car. Out of the pits comes the Amlin car of Salvador Duran back in the race.
In his position, he's got to just get as many laps as possible, learn how to drive these cars, learn how to understand them, and he just needs laps. He's been out of the car for a long time.
And there is the a drive-through penalty for car number 8. So that's Nico Prost. Nico Prost has just been given a drive-through penalty for using too much power and using more. They have a limit of how much power you're allowed to use.
150 kilowatts, isn't it?
Absolutely, at any one time. So that's the thing. So you've got your maximum power, which is 150 kilowatts, and then you've got your usable energy over the course of the race. So it's sort of, if you want, it's horsepower and tank size.
What they don't want happening is the car going to zero, running out of fuel, and stopping dead in front of somebody else and causing a big issue, which is why they have that sort of bit of gap.
Yeah. Exactly. But this is for using more than the allowed power in a straight line. So that's going to be a drive-through penalty for Nico Prost. Meanwhile, Daniel Abt has set the fastest lap of the race, which means he will pick up 2 points if that stays like that for the remaining 10 laps or so.
Matty Brabham getting defensive there.
Yep, he's coming under a lot of pressure from Jaime Alguersuari over 8th position. And Matty Brabham started this race in 19th place and is now up into 8th position. So it's a very, very good drive from Matty Brabham as well. But Buemi leads, Verne second, Piquet Jr. third. Nico Prost is fourth, but he has a drive-through penalty. We're on board now with Serbia.
I tell you, Cerruti's impressed me today. Michele Cerruti's done a good job coming up through the field. Started near the back, took the nose off the car this morning early, but she's running quite well right now.
Yep, sitting in 11th position at the moment, behind Bruno Senna, just outside of the points. As we go on board with Serbia, almost nosing into each other as they come around the hairpin. And through they flash, through the chicane.
We talk about keeping the momentum up. By doing that, though, you set the car up a certain way, so when the car in front of you is a little bit slower, they tend to stop and start a bit more. It makes it more difficult to pass if you've got the car set up for that sort of carrying momentum, carrying mid-corner, speed a bit through it, and you'll see that some of the guys struggling with that today a little bit.
This is Serbia then on board, trying to get past Michele Cerruti for 11th position. A little feint towards the inside from Serbia in the Dragon car. And, oh, it's a drive-through penalty for Michele Cerruti, so she will have to come into the pits for breaking the speed limit. And that's a real shame for her, because we were just saying how, well, you've done it again, Dario. We were just saying what a good job she's doing, and now she's going to have to come in for a drive-through penalty. Meanwhile, Nick Heidfeld is trying to recover and get past Antonio Garcia for 13th place. There's battles all over the place, non-stop, but Sebastian Buemi is the man leading for the EDAMS team, and he has got a 2-second advantage over Jean-Eric Verne in second place.
Yeah, I wonder how, I'd love to see how much power that Verne's got left. How much usable power, just to see if he's managed to bring that situation a bit more under control.
On board we go with Nick Heidfeld, down into the hairpin, throws it up the inside. Job done for Heidfeld. He moves up past Antonio Garcia and into 13th place.
Textbook pass. Textbook right there. Let's see it. He'll pull away now. He's been running some very good laps.
He'll be on the back of Oriol Servia before too long. 3 retirements, Stefan Sarazan, Antonio Felix da Costa and Sam Bird. And Lucas Di Grassi has just set the fastest first sector of anyone, and a very good middle sector as well, and is starting to close in on Nelson Piquet Jr. in the battle for 3rd position. So Lucas Di Grassi will be one to keep an eye on in the coming laps. Meanwhile, Heidfeld is the next man to go on the attack, and it's Oriol Servia that he's behind. And the fastest lap of the race for Lucas Di Grassi, so he takes that away from his teammate Daniel Abt, and Di Grassi closes the gap to 1.1 seconds to Nelson Piquet Jr. in front of him. There is the Dragon team watching on as their man Oriol Servia is defending from Nick Heidfeld down into turn 1. Now here we go, what's this? This is Trulli, Matty Brabham and Jaime Alguersuari and Bruno Senna all in a queue over ultimately 6th position.
We have a Trulli train.
We certainly do, and actually initially it was a D'Ambrosio train, but he seems to have got the hammer down a little bit now and gapped these guys.
Yeah,
he's got a 1.2 second advantage.
Yeah, he's done a great job again. Another car coming from the back to the front, and yeah, the pace is so close here. And as I say, one mistake and you're losing 1 or 2 spots, 2 or 3 spots. You're not losing one.
You've done it again.
No.
You just said how good D'Ambrosio is doing. Drive-through penalty for car 7 for not respecting the pit stop time, and also a drive-through penalty, as we thought, for Nick Heidfeld. He went through the pits too quickly. D'Ambrosio did it in 1 minute 3 seconds, and the gap is 1 minute 4 seconds. So D'Ambrosio, drive-through penalty. As for Nick Heidfeld, in goes D'Ambrosio there. So that means Trulli's up to 5th.
Drivers to start paying me not to talk about them in a positive manner.
There you can see the confirmation from race control.
Corner 13 here. Watch the car in front. Look at it sliding.
Whoa.
Al-Jashwari looks like he's got some serious understeer in that thing through there.
Matti Brabham is really driving well, and he's right up the back of Jarno Trulli in the battle for 5th position. He's trying to get past, but he's having gone the sandy line on the run down to 17. That was an ambitious one from Matti Brabham.
This is where Matti Brabham needs to have a little patience. Young driver, not with a lot of experience, needs to just stay a little calm, because he's got the car, he's got the pace to pass Trulli, but if he gets a little excited, makes a mistake, it's all for nothing, because he's driven a really wonderful race today so far.
5 laps to go here in Uruguay. Lap 27 of 31. This is the queue over 5th place. The battle for the lead of the race is down to 0.8 of a second. There's Lucas de Grassi, who is less than a second behind Nelson Piquet Jr. in front of him. So as you said at the start, Dario, it's all going to kick off towards the end. But look how little usable power Verne has there. 29%. That means he's only got 29% of usable power left, compared to Buemi's 38%. So surely Buemi can turn it up, unless, okay, he's got that little energy, but unless that's enough for him to do 5 laps.
I wish I could do the maths quickly enough. Can I phone a friend? It was never my strong point.
That's why you're in the commentary box and not on the Andretti pit wall, probably.
Aye, that's probably right.
So 5 laps to go, and this is the 1st and 2nd place battle. Oh, and that's Matti Brabham. That's Matti Brabham. He's got his heads in his hands, his thumbs up saying I'm okay, but he can't believe what has happened, because he was having a superb race right behind Jarno Trulli for 5th position, and now he's out.
Hopefully they can clean this wreck up here. Look, you can see the marks. Hopefully they clean this wreck up so we can get going again here.
Yeah, safety car has been deployed with 4 laps to go, and this will be, well, surely now they can go max to the finish.
They'll go max to the finish. The good news is the safety car this time caught the leader straight away.
And here's what happened to Matti Brabham. Oh, he's lost it on the way in, and this is going to hurt.
Just overcommitted. The wheel's already broken. Look, wasn't that big a crash, but it's already broken that hit the curb, which is the same thing that happened to Sarazan with these sausage curbs. Saying that was a fair front impact.
Yeah. And look at that, his immediate reaction. What has happened here? Here's the look going to be. This is going to be the angle from Jaime Alguersuari. Now Alguersuari must have done a good job to avoid this, actually.
Yeah, just frustration, I think, stuck behind Trulli. Oh yeah. It's locked to rears. Did you see this? Got it oversteering just a little bit on the way in.
So a real shame for the Andretti squad, but their other car is still running in 2nd place at the moment. Oh, Brabham.
Did you ever pick those gloves up though?
Yeah, he'll need them. He'll need them.
Cheap, yeah. He's so mad. I mean, they don't want to minimise this. It's such, he was having such a good race there. Just a little patience. That's where an experienced guy like Trulli can really sucker you into making a mistake, because he just frustrates you.
So Sebastian Buemi floors it as the safety car comes in, and Jean-Eric Verne is right with him as they come out onto the start-finish straight. 2 ex-Toro Rosso drivers, and Verne is using his fan boost as they come across the line, but I would have thought he would have used that later.
There.
Well, oh, and Buemi's out of shape. Does he keep that on the circuit? Coming through the first corner, where's Buemi? Did he cut the corner?
Did he shortcut? Doubtful.
We'll have to wait and see. And look at that, Jean-Eric Verne knows that Buemi's rattled.
He'll
Down
set
they
him
come.
up here.
Towards the 2nd chicane, and Buemi's going again. He must have some sort of brake problem or regen issues.
Surely he's got to give that place back. Surely he's got to do that. You can't just sort of straight line it.
Well, through the hairpin they come. We're still open to...
They need to make a quick decision here, because we don't want the result in doubt after the checker, do we?
And that was Jean-Eric Verne. We just heard there complaining that Buemi's cutting the chicane, and well, he might complain. Nelson Piquet Jr. is there.
Got a problem.
Oh, slowing down. Jean-Eric Verne. Jean-Eric Verne is slowing, and he is not going to finish this race, which surely means Buemi's going to take victory. He'll crawl back into the pit lane.
How cruel is that?
So that means Sebastian Buemi is leading the way, coming through the final corner to start the final lap of the race.
Healthy lead.
It's not the way that they want to win, but they'll take it if possible. Onto the final lap now then comes Sebastian Buemi. The yellow flag is out for the car down there of Jean-Eric Verne, but what a stunning debut weekend it's been for him nevertheless. Nelson Piquet Jr. 2nd, Lucas de Grassi is 3rd then, 4th is Jarno Trulli, but he's got Jaime Alguersuari right up behind him. Bruno Senna is now in 6th position, Nico Prost 7th, D'Ambrosio, Servia and Garcia completing the top 10. We're on the final lap of the race in what has been a non-stop action-packed Formula E race here in Punta del Este in Uruguay. And are Edams about to take their first victory in Formula E?
He needs to be careful here, not shortcut any more chicanes, because he doesn't want to give them an excuse to give him any kind of penalty.
Through turns 10 and 11 comes Buemi. Piquet Jr.'s following him. De Grassi's not far behind, but none of them are going to be close enough to make a move, I don't think. Trulli's the only man under real pressure in that fourth position at the moment. And there is the car of Jean-Eric Vergne, parked off at the side of the road, and the Edams team are itching to celebrate, but they can't do it just yet. A couple more corners to go.
Yeah, they don't want to do that. They don't want to jinx it.
Down into the final corner. Look at that. Piquet's been very quick in these closing stages. Heidfeldt's using his fan boost further back in the pack. That'll be to try and get past Garcia. But through the final corner comes Sebastian Buemi. He's got Nelson Piquet Jr. right up behind him. But it's victory for Sebastian Buemi and Edams in the third round of Formula E.
Finally, Buemi has fulfilled his potential in Formula E.
Delight over the radio.
J'ai beaucoup bloqué les roues arrière, désolé, mais merci beaucoup. C'était top. La voiture était très bien. Le restart pas terrible, mais la voiture était très bien. Merci beaucoup.
You know, having given 2 races to the rest of the field and showing up here and doing the job he did. Fantastic.
So, an absolutely ecstatic Sebastian Buemi takes victory in the third round of the Formula E Championship. Piquet Jr. second, De Grassi third. And the Edams team, who were one of the front runners coming into this weekend, they've taken 2 of 3 pole positions. Nico Prost led for, well, every lap he led in Beijing except for the final corner. But now finally they have the victory. But there are our top 3, and there is our race winner, Sebastian Buemi, about to climb out of the car. World Endurance Champion a couple of weeks ago, and now he's a race winner in FIA Formula E. And there is De Grassi, so he's now filled every podium slot, first, second and third, and only 0.7 of a second behind at the end, Nelson Piquet Jr. But it's Sebastian Buemi who has taken victory here in Punta del Este. He had to work hard for it.
Sebastian Buemi, you've shown pace ever since the test at Donington, and now finally your time has come. Congratulations, winning the third round of the Formula E race.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, it's been a very difficult journey so far, because the first 2 races didn't go as expected, but today we did everything right, so I'm more than happy. I'm delighted for the team, for us, because it's been very difficult, and now we finally you know, win our first race, so really happy.
And what happened at that chicane where you were trying to overtake Jean-Eric Vergne?
Yeah, basically I locked the rear wheel, so I had to cut the chicane. It wasn't really good, but you know, I had to push very hard. He was very quick, but clearly I think we had a great strategy, and thanks a lot to the team.
And were you nervous that obviously he had the fan boost?
Yeah, I knew he had the fan boost, so he was going to use it. But, you know, at the end of the day, I don't know what happened to him. I don't know if he had an accident, but really happy with the result.
All right, thanks very much. Jean-Paul Gilloux, you must be ecstatic right now.
Yeah, because, you know, it's the third race. We were nearly winning the first one. We had problems in the second one. And now winning, it's quite nice. What did you do? So, you know, it's 26 years that I race. We won incredible number of races, championship, but this one is quite something.
It's something you've been working towards a very long time, and you put a lot of blood, sweat and tears into it.
No, but it's something, you know, which is exceptional, because it's something that, you know, this is the new era, it's electrical, it's completely different, and it was a completely different strategy, different approach, and to be there now, I think that it's a fantastic achievement. Thanks.
Congratulations, thank you.
Let's have a look at the results, and it was 0.7 of a second, the gap in the end between the Swiss and the 2 Brazilians in second and third position. The first victory for Buemi and Edams in FIA Formula E. 3 winners from 3 races. Jarno Trulli finishing in 4th place, a strong performance from him. Jaime Alguersuari just couldn't find a way past for the majority of the race. Bruno Senna managed to start 20th and finish in 6th place. Bird, Da Costa, Sarrazin, Brabham were the retirements, and Jean-Eric Vergne finished down in 14th position. As far as the team's drivers' points are concerned, Lucas de Grassi is now at the top of the championship. 18 points clear of Sebastian Buemi. That's a second place finish worth of points away from Buemi. Very impressive stuff from the Brazilian. Sam Bird still in third place despite not finishing today. Nico Prost is in fourth. Nelson Piquet Jr. jumps up to fifth place in the championship standings, level on points with Jerome D'Ambrosio. In the team's championship, Edams are now 2 points clear of Audi Sport Abt, and so it's very, very close at the top of those standings as well. Virgin not having the best of races, but they're still within touching distance, only 10 points off the lead of the championship. Then there's a bit of a big drop back to Dragon Racing behind him. And there is the race-winning trophy handed over by Susana Hernandez, the Intendenta de Maldonado. Maldonado, the city that is just north of Punta del Este.
Oh, he is putting the goggles on.
The champagne is sprayed. Jean-Paul Drio receives the main burst of it. Nelson Piquet Jr. is safe. But it's Sebastian Buemi who takes victory in round 3 of Formula E here in Uruguay. The next stop is Buenos Aires.
When the lightning strikes, let's stand together. When the moment comes, let's stand as one. Let's stand together. Let's stand together. Let's stand.